I did it again. I said that if I were going to take a break from the show that I would tell you. And I mean, I have a whole episode about how you can't ghost someone you know. And then basically what I did was ghost you. But I really, really, really didn't mean to. And I will say that the last time I took an unexpected break, it was for months. And then this time it was also for months. And as when I realized it happened, I like outlined an episode to come talk to you about it, and then I didn't, and the hiatus continued, and I now it's over. Here I am and I'm talking to you. And I guess lessons work like that, right? It's not like you learn something one time and then boom, you've got it forever, right? It's a process. Through repetition of the same lesson, things get smoother, more predictable. You're able to engage more easily and navigate the situation. Very similar to how we learn and train our bodies. And if that's the truth, which it is, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm doing an awesome job. And I also am sorry that I accidentally ghosted you again. Oops, I did it again. Things recently, life has gotten busier, which is really great. I had an influx of new clients, like really within like a week. I think I got 5 new clients, which is awesome. And I'm so excited to work with them. And I've been working with them. They show up, they are ready to learn and evolve and grow, and they are making huge progress. Like I'm not exaggerating. It is like life-changing progress in that they report back, this has changed my life. And it's awesome. And it means that I'm spending more time teaching, which consumes my time. And it's an opportunity for me to look at, reflect, reassess, figure out how and where I'm spending my time and how that aligns with my values and my goals and what we're doing here. And something that's really exciting that I am proud to say for the first time in my 20-year teaching Pilates career, that right now I'm fully booked. Like, now, to be clear about this, I am not teaching nearly as many hours as I have in the past, not even close. I've been way more booked than this, but I have reached my schedule's capacity. And that's because I now not only know my limits, I don't ignore them. Past Alissa would say yes to every single client. I'd say yes to 5 o'clock in the morning clients and 7 o'clock at night clients. And anytime during the day, if it was physically possible for me to be teaching you, I would say yes and I would be teaching you. And you might be thinking, Alissa, you're saying no now because like you have kids. And yeah, that's part of it. The demands on my time are different than when I was single and childless. And a choice that I made going into motherhood and discussed with my partner and planned for on my own and with my business was that I wanted to spend time, X, X amount of time with my kids that works for me, right? And then I actually had a kid and renegotiated those terms. But it's more than that. I've done this dance before. I say yes because let's be real, when you work for yourself and in a service industry and you love helping people, which is why you work in said industry and you work for yourself, saying no to a client means saying no to money. And you never know when clients will leave or move or change their mind or cancel or whatever. And that scarcity takes over, and then you overwork yourself and even charge less to keep people coming in and get them coming in multiple times a week and just make sure because you're so afraid that they won't be there. And I've done this so many times and I've run myself into the ground so many times and I start resenting everything and everyone. And then I get sick and burnt out and I'm like, Brittany, Oops, I did it again. I've learned this lesson so many times, and it always leads to that resentment and burnout. And I don't like it. And I've done enough repetitions of this lesson that this time I'm not doing it. I'm doing it different this time. When I realized that I reached my personal sustainable capacity of number of hours per week that I can teach, I simply started a waiting list. That's it, right? I I started a list of people who are interested in working together and of people with whom I've had conversations that I say right now my schedule is at capacity. Let's check back. This is when I can check back in with you and then I'll have more information. It was so simple. It feels so weird and it feels so cool. And if you are someone who works for yourself and or you know someone who does, you know how confusing it is to say no to more work. But I'm not going to do myself dirty like this again because I've done it so many times and I know where that road goes to. And honestly, in this scheme of things, it is absolutely not worth it. Oops, I'm not doing it again. It's so cool because now I come to my teaching filled with energy and passion and excitement, and I have the space that I need to be my full self. Respecting my own boundaries does a couple of really cool things. So it teaches other people that they too need to respect my boundaries because that's how it goes here. I have the time to take care of myself and I show up how I want to in all areas of my life as a teacher, as a friend, as a mom, as a partner, as a podcast host, right? As a creator, as everything who I am. Now I'm a biker rider. There will be a separate episode about that. But yeah, guys, friend, I got a bike. Okay. It also, having this space, clarifies, like it gives me the space to see clearly what the next steps are, how to take them. And I actually have time to take said next steps. So I want to take a quick moment right here to call out the fact that these lessons have been hard won over many years. Okay. I've been working with some coaches, teachers, and trainers who are newer on the scene, right? Like I'm teaching, teacher teaching the teachers. I'm a teacher. Um, and so I've been working with some people who are newer to the industry and are in the midst of these lessons because we all have to go through them. And if any of you are, if you're listening and you work with me, um, on how to more sustainably build your business and life, I share this openly that it takes time and experience to get here. And yes, you will benefit from my mistakes, whether or not you're someone who works for themselves. But even if you don't work for yourself, we're all learning these lessons, right? But you get to benefit from what I've learned from my mistakes while kind of making the same ones and other new ones yourself. And then we get to collaborate and figure out how do we create some space to see your next steps. Okay, so how cool is it though? This is what I can't get over, that respecting my own boundaries, other people then also respect my boundaries. I get to do what I need to do to be happy and taken care of. And I feel less lost on what the next move is. And isn't that awesome? And it's extra awesome because it became clear to me that I needed to start a dance class. I mean, listen, I will admit, I will be the first one to tell you that I have a sordid, jaded, and like totally romantic relationship with dance. When you take the thing that you love most in the world, that you are here for, and then you make it your job, things get weird. So back in 2016, when I I didn't realize that's when it was happening, but, like, really, that's when I stopped dancing professionally. I stopped dancing completely because I couldn't do it. There were too many feelings there. It was like when I got divorced, I needed to not talk to or see my ex-husband in order to figure out who I am without him, right? I needed to not dance in order to figure out who am I without dance. And I learned a lot of great things. And it's very clear to me that to reintegrate dance into my life, it has to be on my own terms. This pull, this need, this step started coming into focus when I got pregnant with Cam. And I immediately needed to go back to dance class. Like I was so nauseous. It was the first trimester. I felt like garbage. And I had to schlep myself to Midtown to go to Broadway Dance Center for class. And I had to do it. I didn't have a choice. I was doing floor work. I was doing pirouettes. As I was pregnant with my second kid in this class with like these young dancers who had just gotten there who were so full of hope. It was so incredible. And then after I had Cam, I got back into dance class, which if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen videos from my dance class that I go take. And oh my gosh, I'll never forget that first class where I found my whole self again. Mm. I think it's inaccurate to say again because I think I think it's actually for the first time because I've never been this me before, but I found my whole me. And it was funny, back in April I turned 41. So I'm now in my 40s. And I'll be honest, I love it. I am so deeply happy. And back in April, when I was like really feeling this and in this, I emailed my list, which if you're not on it, why aren't you on my email list? The really good stuff lives there, and I don't disappear there like I do sometimes over here. And this particular birthday, 41, really inspired some serious reflection. And if you know me, I love any opportunity to reflect. So when I was turning 31, I had officially filed for divorce, like just before that. And I was filled with this rush of freedom and potential. I was ready to figure out and build the life that I want, not the one I was told to want or the one that other people wanted me to have or what was expected of me, but what I actually want, a life based on my dreams, my desires, my needs, and my values. And as I've moved into my 40s, right? Not turning 40, but into the 40s, I realize that I am absolutely centered in that life. I am living the life that I built starting at 31, built on my dreams, my desires, my needs, and my values. And it does not surprise me at all that right now is the time to start teaching dance classes again. And I know what you're thinking. No, I'm not going to stop teaching Pilates, let alone Pilates for your privates, not even kind of. As I said, my schedule is full, which feels really bananas to say. And I'm also really proud to say it. I'm proud to say that I'm respecting my own boundaries. It's unbelievable. And I'm really proud to say that a lot of my business is growing because of word of mouth and referral. Yes, I'm putting myself out there and I am working within my values and my integrity, helping people the way that I know how. And they are telling their friends, and their friends are saying, I'll have what she's having. And it's amazing. To trust me with your body is not something I take lightly. And then it's like doubling down on that when you then trust me with someone you love. Anyway, as I said, because I have this space, right, to see the next steps, it it in the spring became clear that I needed to start teaching dance class. A space to connect to the pre-teen tween version of myself, right? And for you, of yourself, who makes up dances with like your best friend during a sleepover or a family party and then performs it for everyone. The version of you that hears that song at a bat mitzvah or a sweet 16 and makes eye contact with your friend and you just like bust out into full choreography and everybody's shocked with amazement. It's like summer camp meets talent show meets Britney Spears meets all of your teenage dreams come true. And I specifically chose Monday for class because when we do it on Monday and start the week like that, all of us, everyone in dance class, our whole week is infused with such joy. And I get texts like, look at my 90s pop playlist for my walk this morning. It's totally making my day. And then like, I wish we had dance class today. And I got one that said I showed my family our dance and they love it. My daughter's learning it as I practice. Can you even? Isn't that the best? Because like the world is on fire right now. We are not okay. And they cannot steal your joy. You get to infuse your life with life and let that fuel your work to resist. Because I also 100% feel no, that joy in your body is one of our strongest forms of resistance. And as I am here in this very centered and clear place in my life right now, it felt perfect. Like it feels perfect to do these dance classes. And yes, when I started dance class, the first dance we learned was the original choreography to Oops, I Did It Again. And yes, we all wore red to dance class when we finished the piece so that we could really channel Britney. The dance is fun and silly, and it is a recognition of this pattern of abandoning our own boundaries. And like you know this, and I'm seeing this in action that if you can't respect your own boundaries, why would somebody else? We teach people how to treat us. And as class has gone on, I've been choosing songs that take us on this adventure, like mirroring us, reclaiming our space, our time, our lives, so that we can show up in our lives and share from the overflow of our cup, so that we still end the day with a full cup rather than the dregs. Because we don't do ourselves dirty like that anymore, which is why then dance class became dance camp for the summer, which is such a gift. We are having so much fun. We got t-shirts and water bottles, and my private clients are making, as I said, huge life-changing strides. And I know this is because of their commitment and dedication to their goals. And they do what I tell them because I am practicing what I preach because I am who I am. That's from Lacage. Um, but really, like I know that when alignment is everything. When you live in your alignment, when you are aligned, everything works better. Yes, you can refer back to the old podcast titled Alignment is Everything. So I, I've been with all this space that I have now, right? I've been just doing so much thinking and so much reflecting, and a lot of it about my work and what it is I do and who I work with and why I love them and what inspires me about their work and their bodies and what inspires me about my work and my body. And all of these things keep growing and evolving and shifting. And I think that's why these breaks or hiatuses or me accidentally ghosting you, but I'm not really ghosting you. If you're on my email list, we've been together this whole time. Like why this happens. And it's not me just getting tired. I'm like kind of needing a break because I'm tired. It's it's needing the extra space to grow. Like how my kids eat more, but then eat less and sleep more when they're going through the actual growth spurt. It's cyclical. I'm cyclical. We're cyclical. Life is cyclical. We are not built to just do all the time. And I realized that in recent years, I've been so motherhood focused because I became a mom and it was not what I expected in all the ways. And I tend to work with moms. But now I'm really out of the acute postpartum world. My youngest is now 2. I've got my life back somewhat. And I'm able to sort of zoom out and see the expanse of my work and how it's about so many things and about how it started, which had nothing to do with kids. And while I reserve the right to change anything and everything about this at any time, I realize that I'm thinking right now that my work centers around performance. It started with onstage performance, then personal performance in my relationships, my performance as a mother. And I don't mean performance as like putting on an act. I mean like my how I do it, how I show up, how I embody it. Performance in the bathroom, because you know how good a good poop and a confident sneeze feels. Professional performance, right? Performance in all of these capacities, because I don't work with people just on their performance of the intermediate reformer or how to rehabilitate a torn ACL to get back onto the soccer field, right? That's, although I do those things and I said it like I don't like it. I do like it. But it also it integrates and expands to and includes and implodes into um so much more than just the what's happening in the session. So, moving forward, I'm going to be talking more about how we're doing these things and how we can train for every aspect of life strategically. Because I am sick and tired of the nonsense that I see on social media. And I am so honored that the people that work with me trust me to come with me with their questions. And so many times they're like, you probably hate this question. I'm sorry. I have to ask. And is this real? And what do you think about? And that they trust me that they can ask me anything. But my goodness, the amount of protein and fiber and weights and vests and steps and it has gotten weird and cuckoo bananas out there. And in here, in my house, we don't do ourselves dirty like that anymore. We train strategically with a focus on connection, intelligence, trust, and fun. So if you like the sound of this, get on my email list. How many times have I said it this episode? Okay, but for real, get on my email list and also make sure that you're subscribed, following the podcast so you're up to date with episodes and information. But again, the best place to do that is my email list. And maybe also check this out. If you're listening on a podcast platform, check it out on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, get on my email list because I have something exciting things planned for the fall, but you will hear from me before then because I will be back here soon with regular episodes. And again, if you're picking up what I'm laying down, if you hear what I'm clucking, big chicken, if you're like, I'll have what she's having, if you're thinking, Alissa, you keep reading my journal, join the email list. Okay, well, you will be the first to know about literally everything. Podcast episodes, blog posts, workshops, classes, guest appearances, plus tips and tricks on how to make your life as strong as your pelvic floor. As always, I've got your back, I've got your front, and I've got your undercarriage.